The Biodiversity Finance Initiative supports countries to develop robust business cases for increased investment in the sustainable management, protection, and restoration of biodiversity and ecosystems in an equitable manner. For Namibia to access funding through the BioFin, it is required to develop a national biodiversity finance plan. The plan should identify and implement innovative financial solutions to sustainably support biodiversity, conservation, and management across the country.
As we embark on reviewing our existing policies and institutional framework, your presence here today signifies a strong ownership of this process, but also reinforces the importance of collaborative governance in achieving long-term conservation outcomes.
According to Namibia's preliminary findings on policy and institutional capacities, it was identified that there is a need to strengthen 11 acts and 13 policies or strategies that speaks to the country's biodiversity and environmental well-being. Some of the acts and policies are outdated and silent on emerging industries such as phosphate mining, green hydrogen, green energy, climate change impacts, and oil and gas. They are also said to be weak in enforcement and monitoring, while penalty fees to offenders are also low. This includes the Soil Conservation Act of 1969, Nature Conservation Ordinance Act of 1975, and Environmental Management Act of 2007.
Strengthen our Environmental Management Act, specifically on enforcement, and also strengthen biodiversity offsetting for project impacts that cannot be mitigated. For example, mining activities, I think the B2 Gold as well as NAMDEB have really done a good thing so far with mitigating their environmental impacts through introduction of biodiversity offsets. And we are saying that we need to implement cross-sectoral biodiversity impact assessments in all integrated land use plans.
The executive director of the Namibia Nature Foundation added that addressing gaps in biodiversity funding will ensure environmental sustainability and offer tangible economic benefits for Namibia.
What this basically did was it set the scene, particularly for policymakers, as to what the value of nature in Namibia is, and it makes the case for investment. So back then in 2018, the total value with imperfect figures was estimated at over 13 billion Namibian dollars, which if in today's value is probably just over 1.1 billion US dollars if you take inflation into account. So ecosystem services themselves, if they were to be estimated as GDP, are providing 9% of the GDP of the country, making them one of the largest sectors in the country.
The global biodiversity financing gap is estimated at $700 billion annually. Chilanda Fuka, NBC News, Bantuk.